All right, hello. My name is Hunter, and today I'm joined by Matthew. And Matthew is one of Learn4's piano and vocal teachers. So, welcome, Matthew.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And Matthew and I were chatting a little bit before, and it's funny. We actually grew up in the same area in Minnesota, very close to each other. But back to the point. So, I guess the first question we got for you, Matthew, is when did you start playing piano? When did you start singing? Where did it all start?
I started playing piano when I was probably about 5 or 6 years old.
Hmm.
My parents gave me either the alternative from sports or music. My dad was a musician, and my mom, she really kind of thought that I would be a good athlete.
Okay.
Which didn't work out at all. I didn't care for sports.
Mhm.
I tried piano lessons. I actually kind of enjoyed it a lot
Oh,
more than sports. But as I started growing up with different instructors I've had, I started to love it a lot.
okay.
But my parents really focused me primarily on piano, and probably about the time I was 13, I really want to know how to sing. But my parents couldn't afford vocal lessons. So by the time I hit high school, I joined choir, and my choir teacher was giving me free vocal
Oh,
lessons,
wow.
which was a blessing in itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably about the time I was like 15, I started doing vocal lessons.
Okay.
Yeah, and then eventually I went to McNally Smith College of Music, got a little bit more technical, and started performing. But for piano,
Cool.
close to probably about 15 years. For
Okay.
vocal, probably close to around six
Yeah, no,
or
because
seven.
I think it's pretty rare, like at least most children, well, because I grew up trying to take piano lessons, but I didn't
Right,
have the patience for it. So being 5 years
right.
old, you actually enjoyed it?
I enjoy it. I right now I teach the books that I learned on, and
Mhm.
it's crazy deja vu sometimes. Where
Wow.
I'm just like, oh, I remember this song, I remember this, and I just remember sitting down, and it was frustrating because I had a hard time sight reading, or I had a hard
Yeah.
time understanding music theory. But as I got older, and I'm starting to comprehend it a lot more, I started learning how to appreciate it to a much more certain extent.
Okay.
So
No, that's
yeah.
awesome. And so when you said when you're going at McNally, you're performing a little bit.
hmm
What kind I mean, were you playing piano and singing, or what were the gigs that you were doing?
I mostly focused on singing.
Oh,
So,
okay.
especially when I was that, yeah, I tried as far away to stay away from piano because I'm like, cool, I know this instrument. I want to work on something completely different,
Okay.
right? Um, so I joined a band called the Common Cassettes. We performed all around Minneapolis,
Cool.
Wisconsin, North Dakota. We had a tour in Seattle. By the time most of
Cool.
these guys were about 3 years older than me, so they
Okay.
eventually graduated and kind of left the state.
Mhm.
So we kind of broke up on there. By the time all that kind of broke away, I was leaving McNally as well, and I joined an independent label. So I
Cool.
was a ghostwriter. I did production. I would do instrumental beats for hip hop artists all around Wisconsin,
Nice.
Minneapolis, and yeah, some parts of Iowa. So which was
Okay.
really cool. But eventually, as that led, I started focusing myself as a solo artist, and I started getting featured on a lot of these songs, which was kind of
Okay.
cool.
Wow, no, that's amazing. Well, is that what drew you out to LA? What made you move out
That's
there?
it. My contract with my indie label was about 2 years. And so I told myself, after this 2 year mark, I'm going to see kind of what's going on if, it might be beneficial for me to stay in Minneapolis or
Hmm.
venture out to Los Angeles,
Yeah.
which I obviously did. I have a bunch of buddies that actually moved out here as well for this music career. So
Oh,
I'm not
nice.
alone. So at least
Yeah,
I
that's
have.
that's definitely more comforting.
Right. Oh, yeah. It's so much more comfortable.
Mhm. Yeah, so I mean, so you're playing right now, and then you're teaching. Like, what's kind of like the average week for you?
Average week,
Sorry.
I think for performing, it's probably once every 2 weeks, and
Okay.
then I try to teach as much as I can,
Hmm.
especially throughout the week. Right now, I teach specifically over at a tutoring school in Koreatown. That's practically takes up my whole entire Thursday.
Nice.
But along from that, I ghostwrite with a few different solo artists as well. We collaborate, different stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. So out of all the, I mean, obviously, it sounds like you're doing a lot. You've done a lot of impressive
Right,
things. What one
right.
to you do you think sticks out the most? What do you think is your favorite?
Like, probably like accomplishment
Yeah,
wise.
yeah, accomplishment wise, exactly.
Probably back in Minneapolis, because Prince was a huge icon.
Yeah, in Minnesota. Yeah.
Well, everyone knew about Prince.
Mhm.
So what was it? Probably 2 years ago, I get a call from a manager, a talent manager, and she's like, "There's this band called Encore. They're trying to start up. It's a bunch of these older musicians. We're looking for a young singer, whatever, right?"
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool, yeah, I'd love to come in for an audition. This is a great opportunity. Who knows what could come out of it? I get there, and there's former members of Princeton New Power Generation.
No way.
Which is so the guitarist, and then the manager used to sing backups for Prince.
Wow.
And oh yeah, so we were practicing for a show in Phoenix for 7 months. We were rehearsing 40 plus songs. Long story short, after Prince died, it all practically fell through, which is super.
Oh no, yeah.
We'll keep in touch, but it broke their hearts a lot more than it broke mine because they worked with Prince.
Yeah.
One of my piano mentors, he was Prince's pianist for a long time.
Cool.
So really, I watched it hit all these different people. But yeah, it really did a huge impact.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, all that kind of fell through.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's still very cool that you had that opportunity, though. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a blessing just to have that. Be asked.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, I don't want to run too much on time here, so that's all we're gonna do for today. But I mean, that's awesome, Matthew. I mean, clearly you got a lot to offer. And so to our viewers out there, if you're in the LA area and you want to start learning some piano or some vocal training, just go to Matthew's profile and just click book. But thank you very much, Matthew. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, no problem.